So I was listening to the final episode of Search Engine last night, and Jesse Brown had Cory Doctorow on talking about um, the upcoming or the current, depending on which way you look at it, war on the general purpose computer, or you could call it the war on the personal computer. The idea that these devices that we carry, that we own, in some cases, when we're talking about medical devices that we wear, whether or not we actually own them. To me, they're one of the fundamental rights of the owners of technology would be the right to choose the software that's on those devices. And even if you don't have the technical knowledge to make those choices yourself, you should still have the right to decide who is making those choices. If the computer is like a car, there's always a lot of comparisons between transportation technology and communications technology. If the computer is like the car, the software is like the driver. And while we might all like to have a chauffeur to drive us around, I think we would all want to decide who those chauffeurs are, and to know that those chauffeurs are going to take us where we want to go rather than where somebody else wants us to go. So, you quite often hear people saying, well, I don't really want to be able to, or I don't really want to manage my own computer. I don't have that technical knowledge. I really don't have the time. Why should I be burdened with that, with all that work? And that's perfectly fine. But the question isn't, do you want to be a do-it-yourselfer and do everything on your own? The question is really a matter of control, of who decides and what the policies are going to be, what the device is going to do, whether it's going to obey your instructions or whether it's going to disobey your instructions and do something that is of interest to somebody else that's not even accountable to you. I mean, one of the things Cory was talking about is the idea of, well, what if you had prosthetic legs? Do we really want to have someone's legs under somebody else's control just because those legs happen to be computerized? Will it cause you to walk back to the dealer if you miss a payment or something? Or even just think you missed a payment. I mean, it's not like computers would ever make a mistake and think that you didn't pay when you actually did or things like that. But even if you didn't, do we really want these devices, which again, we're not just talking about personal computers sitting on our desktops anymore. We're talking about personal computers embedded into our bodies, personal computers that are vital for economics, personal computers that are how we communicate with the rest of the world. So pretty much every human right is increasingly becoming intermediated with computers. And so it really matters who is controlling those computers. So if an individual decides that they don't want to have that choice, like, there were people at the parliamentary committees, there were people at the Senate committees who, there was one specific person who held up a device and said, I don't really want to have I don't have control over this device. It doesn't matter to me. Essentially, that's like someone waiving their rights. Even if a majority of people decide that they want to waive their rights, does that mean that we don't protect the right? I mean, if you look at copyright as a comparison, the vast majority of copyright holders have no interest in copyright whatsoever. While you do have a small minority of people that are interested in protecting their commercial rights relating to copyright, people create things every day. Every time you write something on a napkin, that is a copyrighted work. Every time an amateur takes a photograph, that's a copyrighted work. Every time a security camera takes an image, that's a copyrighted work. The vast, 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 vast majority of copyrighted works, the owners of those copyrighted works have absolutely no interest in protecting their copyright at all. So does that mean that we should just reject the idea of copyright just because a majority of copyright holders have absolutely no interest in protecting the copyright? Now, obviously, those going to the committee trying to make copyright stronger would reject that idea. So why is it that when we're talking about copyright, having only a minority interested in it means that it should become stronger. But with technology property rights, having only a minority interested in it should mean that we should throw it away entirely. Like the hypocrisy that you hear is considerable. But that's one of the reasons why I'm always suggesting make comparisons between technology property rights and other property rights, including copyright, and find out whether or not the analogies people are making, oh, I don't care, so therefore no one should be allowed to care, see if they hold for other rights as well. And you'll find out that pretty often they don't. So hopefully we can move forward with this, that we can get politicians to recognize the importance of technology property rights. Again, we're not just talking about computers sitting on our desks. We're not talking about devices that are being used to display multimedia. We're talking about things that are getting embedded in our bodies. We're talking about technology being used to carry out elections. Devices being used to participate in the economy, to participate in culture, to participate in everything. Commercial copyrighted content is such a tiny part of what we do with our communications devices. And to essentially allow owners to not control their communications devices because of this tiny, almost insignificant percentage that might be copyrighted content is just ludicrous. So let's move forward. Let's make sure that more and more politicians recognize that as well. And let's get the laws fixed so that technology property rights are properly respected, properly protected,